All right, we got the big show. We got Jamal today. So today we're live with my man Jamal from EDM Network. If you want to find them online, it's EDM Lead Network. They had to throw in that extra word so you know it's qualified. And we got Jamal. What's up, Jamal? How are you, buddy?
Hey, appreciate it, Darren. Nah, happy to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you back. And by the way, Jamal is a gold level sponsor on the affiliate ball this year. We've changed the format up a little bit. This time around, we're going to go with kind of a little bit of a roast, but not really a roast. It just depends on your game. It's Shark Tank meets Kill Tony, where we get a bunch of contestants up on the stage or sponsors, and Jamal is one of them. However, if you'd rather not be the contestant to pitch the audience, you could be a judge. And as of right now, I think Jamal is leaning towards being the judge, but he might change his mind later because his pitch today is going to be so great that he's going to say, I'm ready for the main stage, right, Jamal?
Always, Darren. You don't put me on the spot anywhere. We'll make it happen.
I love it. So, Jamal, you and I go back. One of the things that I think a lot of people don't understand what EDM Network really does. You have a well, I'll let you explain what it is in a nutshell, and then we'll talk about what you have that you're very excited about. I'd rather you sell it to us.
Yeah, so at its core, EDM is a performance marketing network. We support both advertisers and publishers within our ecosystem. We launched a couple years ago what we call a media broker program, which allows people that want to arbitrage media, meaning bringing in their publishing relationships or their direct advertising relationships and using our platform to be able to facilitate that all on a performance basis. You can pretty much eliminate your entire tech stack. So all the external tracking and management platforms that you're using can all be eradicated using the platform. So it's been great. We got $1 million earners on the platform now. So, there's just so much opportunity for everybody.
So you have kind of a dual purpose. You can either, I mean, if you have leads or calls or form fills, you can go to EDM Network, sign up for an account, and then you could just
Publish.
pick your
Yeah,
cost, right?
Yeah, you could just publish media, or if you are looking to buy traffic, you can come in and buy from our exchange. We also host offers for advertisers. So, advertisers that want to be able to host their offer for an entire network, we do that for them. That's a very big part of our business as well. So, if you're looking for some exclusive stuff as a publisher, we got those brands and offers in the ecosystem that'll be able to be an outlet for you guys to make some money.
What are your top offers right now that people like? What are the main ones that people would be interested in our industry?
Definitely a lot of our legal offers are extremely good right now, from mass tort to a lot of our consumer protection campaigns are really, really big right now. We're doing a lot in auto, final expense, Medicare, all the insurance verticals, and then home services is kind of like our biggest focus right now. We're consolidating a lot of big franchises in the home services space for our advertiser distribution. So I think that could be a major outlet for, any of these publishers out here that are looking for some new distribution on the home services side.
So I remember I signed up myself under my marketing firm, and I'm able to be a reseller or a broker of your service. Let's go into the white label. Tell me more about that one.
Yeah, so the media broker side of the platform is really one of my biggest focuses right now. What it's really allowing us to do, like we're making $1 million earners there that are, now using our platforms to facilitate their arbitrage business, bringing in publishing relationships that they may have or advertiser relationships they may have, and provide the support to their book of business. And we definitely have the most aggressive commissions in the business in terms of what you can make. Brokering, arbitraging the media. We're paying out over 70% of the profits that get generated from those campaigns that we're reinvesting back into our media brokers. So, right now we're highly aggressive on bringing in new partners. The biggest thing for us is making sure that anybody that does join that ecosystem is managing their book of business. Managing the book of business is everything for us. So, on that front, it's extremely great opportunity. The visibility and access within the platform is massive. We let you work our house accounts. You can bring a new business. We help everybody get started.
Did I see recently that you had a plaque made for one of these guys that's just crushing it right now? Tell me the story about who's crushing it and how much money did he bring in?
Yeah, so I think we did make it public recently. One of our guys just crossed over the $1 million earner threshold. So he earned $1 million as a media broker in the platform, paid out to him. And it's incredible. He's bringing in a lot of business, and he's making six figures a month just by himself. Really just hustling and bringing in these quality relationships of advertisers that feed the ecosystem for a lot of our other brokers as well, right? So he may bring in the advertiser, but he's creating a lot of other opportunities for other media brokers to monetize on the publishing side, bringing in unique relationships to feed the offers. So that's just one example. We got a lot of other guys that are doing, close to that pacing right now in terms of getting that $1 million earner award. That seems to be the big thing that everybody's shooting for. But our average guys right now are making a few thousand a week. Then our top producers are doing, almost six figures a month. Consistently. It's really a big opportunity and a great one, just for those guys that are really hungry and looking for something that's different in the space where you still have access and autonomy to run your business, but you're around an environment that only wants to see growth and progression.
Do you find that these guys are going into this as this is my business model? I'm going to stick with bringing in more people to work with EDM. Or do you find a lot of your guys are actually doing it for themselves as a lead generating person and selling calls, but as a passive income on the side, referring a few friends over because why not? They know so many people. Are you finding a hybrid of sorts of people that do it and are sending in referrals, or is it strictly just people that this is my business model. I'm going to white label it.
Yeah, so definitely our top earners are operating in that way. We do have some people that, use the platform more as a management system. Um, they'll bring in like a lot of insurance agencies, for example, use the platform. They white label it. They use it as a vendor management platform to offer all their downline agencies, for example. Um, that's a use case where it's more of like referral business. Those retail accounts that they bring in are very cyclical. The spend isn't astronomical in any regard, but it's kind of like you need a lot of those, right? So, like, that's a different game for us. And then the other side is more so our big focus is going after these partners that have a book of business, right? They need a new outlet to either finding new fulfillment for either the advertisers they have, or they have a publishing book of business and they need offers for those publishers. Those relationships we do extremely well because connecting those dots is very, very easy. The issue that I do see is when we create additional redundancy. You kind of have your own ecosystem over here and you're trying to use us as a little piece. But if we did encapsulate everything, the production and productivity overall would be so much greater.
Yeah. So for those that are attending the trade shows, they probably recognize you. I see you at every trade show. How many
Yeah.
trade shows a year are you guys going to these days?
We got 36 on the books this year.
A lot of
As
trade
far as
shows, man. You're working
yeah,
hard.
yeah.
What
So
do you find brings you the most business? Do you have that one trade show where it's the best, or do you find them pretty equal?
the niche conferences are always the best ones. So like going to niche shows, the industry shows are great as well. Um,
How do you define an industry show?
like more so in like the marketing or lead gens, like those lead gen shows or affiliate shows or any of the marketing shows. I find those to be like more like industry focused shows. A lot of the niche shows for us are more vertical specific. So they're for like a very specific home services vertical, a very specific insurance vertical, very specific financial services vertical. Those are kind of like the best ones to procure new advertisers and bring on distribution. The industry shows are great for the publishing and managing all of our fulfillment relationships and that type of stuff. They all have different purposes.
So if somebody wants to sign up as a white label under you and be able to broker your service, what would be the ideal trade show for them to pick up business?
Honestly, it's really getting into all of them, you know. One of the big things that we're trying to expose our team to, that's really helping them get productive a lot faster is meeting and talking to everybody, right? It just takes one, you know, once you get, you know, one good win and one good relationship, one that's scalable, you know, you can really do a lot of damage with that. A lot of the guys that have seen very great success, when they got started, they got one productive very, very fast, you know, and once they did that, the wheels and the momentum really started to build up quickly.
One of the things that I've noticed about you guys that I love, lately you guys are making these incredible videos. I mean, sometimes I think you look a lot like Gary Vee these days. I mean, it's the way it's shot. But why don't you tell us more about the videos you guys are making? I know Rita's got a little bit of a following online. Tell me about his following and how are you incorporating these social media clips into your business model?
Well, more so it's just to stay top of mind and relevance. That was the initial focus, right? And when we initially started doing content, it was, all right, we want to be able to educate. We were releasing a new software and technology. We wanted to make sure that the market was aware, right? Very quickly started to get the feedback that a lot of the content we were putting out was informational, but it was boring. And then from there, it was like, all right, you know, we need some help. And I knew that the way that our life operates is so busy that I don't have time to set up a tripod and a camera all the time to be able to shoot some stuff as far as what's going on. Um, and I thought it was interesting enough where we could start to be able to create like, you know, day in the life content, vlog style, where people are able to get a good perspective as far as what we do and how we do it. Because it's pretty hard to explain what we do in layman's terms, but it's very easy once people see like we're building relationships and making deals, you know,
Yeah.
like that's the core of the business. And like now it's become a recruiting vessel for us where we're using that as a mechanism to bring in new media brokers, you know, expand the awareness as far as who we are, what we do, stronghold in the industry, our presence in the industry, you know, just making sure that people know that we're around, we're here. Things aren't stopping for us. Like when we initially started posting content, it was to post every weekday, and then it was to post every day. And, you know, I just looked at the stats recently with the team, and, you know, we've been posting for the last 58 weeks every day consistently, um, which is, you know, a big deal because the consistency is everything.
Yeah, I love your videos. You guys are doing a great job. You have a real pro shooting that for you. One of the other things that I like about you guys in particular, a lot of guys go to a trade show and I feel like they just stand around a booth and I don't think they get the most out of it. But with you guys, it's different because, and by the way, I've been involved in trade shows in our space since literally the very beginning. There was actually a very first trade show that started all of this. And since I've been a part of the ride, I'm not going to date myself, but let's just say it's way before most people and goes way before Jason Akatiff
Oh, yeah.
and a lot of people. But what I've noticed about you guys that's a little different, you work a trade show to the max. Not only are you doing the social events, and sometimes you'll actually do something yourself and have people swing by. Like I think you had a little barbecue recently in Vegas. But the trade show booth is what impresses me. Every time I walk by and I just want to chat with you for a second, be like, "Yo, Jamal, what's going on?" You're actually pitching someone and showing them a demo, like you yourself, the owner of the company, showing everybody the demo of your platform. And I think that that's pretty big because not too many companies, you don't see the owners doing that. Are you
Well,
finding a lot of success with that?
the big thing there is like, there's nothing I will ever ask anybody to do that I'm not willing to do myself, Darren. And the other part of that is, I feel like sometimes people put themselves in a position where they feel like they're too good to do certain things, right? And you know, I'm not too good to do anything. And you know, Rita and I have this mentality that's, you know, kind of crazy because every day we're broke, right? We're starting from zero every day. Um, and you know, that kind of comes from our insurance days because that's genuinely how it was. You know, every day was from zero. You know, although the, you know, the book of business is growing, the portfolio is growing, like although we're doing more business, we always keep that dog mentality. We're still starting from scratch. And, I do believe in leading from the front because people look at that stuff. I see certain booths where, the owner's sitting around, the team member's sitting around. You know what I'm saying? That's not how it should be, and that energy should be there where everybody understands what the core mission and goal is of why we're there, right?
Yeah,
And those tough conversations happen all the time where it's just like, hey, I know you see me working over here. Why are you sitting over there? Why are you not doing nothing? You know what I'm saying? And people feel very uncomfortable very, very quickly just being around that environment where they know that everybody that is there to work and makes themselves happen. Um, and you'll never see me really like, sitting in the corner running from conversations. If there's traction and motion at the booth, everybody's there. Um, and you work it to the fullest. Man, Darren, like I tell everybody, like getting anything is should never be the goal. Like getting it is not the job, it's keeping it. Like you really don't want to get comfortable once you get something because like the real work comes after that because now you have to sustain it, keep
yeah,
it. And the levels keep progressing and you keep like what is it? The burden of comparison is the thief of joy. Is that the saying there? Right? And there's always going to be somebody doing better than you. You know what I'm saying there? Like, there's always going to be. And as you start to progress and get better throughout your journey and your professional career, like, you're going to start to meet and get into bigger rooms where, yeah, you're not the best in that room, right? And now you personally have to level up now. You got to really take it to the next level.
yeah. One of the things too that I think I don't know if it's helped you a lot, but I'd like to think it has. Your branding. You and we've been doing the affiliate ball for a while now, and we always see your logo up on the screens at the party. You've been up on the stage to promote, and I'm curious. Are you noticing that the repetition of the branding opens up doors? Like you might work a trade show, and usually people don't know who someone is, but if they've seen that brand over and over again, that instant recognition. Are you seeing that factor right now?
Yeah, the consistency is everything, right? So the consistency is everything. Like people will say, I wear the same thing every day. It's always a EDM hat or an EDM t-shirt, one of the two.
Hey man, I like to support my brands. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you have to.
Black and
Yeah.
white hats. Look at that. But we're not black hat.
And but it's so true though to that point, Darren, where it's just like, yeah, the repetition is everything. Getting in front of people, staying in front of people, um, making sure you're somewhat relevant in the conversation consistently, like that really does generate returns tenfold. Because here's the thing: is like now that we're starting to show our personality a little bit more, especially like putting out content and things like that, we're getting humanized, right? And now people can understand the people behind the business versus just the business, right? And there can be public misconceptions and things like that in the marketplace where sometimes people don't know and they don't know who to talk to about the question that they have. Rita and I have been, pretty good in the regard of never closing off a door of a conversation. If someone has a question, ask. Everything is open to discussion. And I do think that's something that is super important in this business is the transparency part. Um, and that's really what we built out, especially in our platform, just to make it so nobody would be able to have ambiguous questions. You know what I'm saying? You
Mm.
know what something is in every regard. You have control to be able to go find the answer. So, I do think that matters so, so much.
Yeah, I agree. So before we finish, let's give a little. How do the kids say it these days? Sauce. Let's give a little sauce for those trying to bring in more leads, more calls, and maybe even implementing AI. Do you have any advice right now for like let's imagine I'm brand new in the industry and where do I start? Like where do most people start in this industry? How do you acquire the lead? What's Give me something that most people might not know, even the experienced people.
So are we thinking like talking as like a publisher or
You
someone
could
that's
talk as a publisher and then also talk as, I guess, an advertiser, affiliate.
okay? So like if you're a publisher or affiliate, like the biggest thing in the business is be transparent, right? Nothing is a secret, right? And everything in the dark always comes to light. So if something's not good, you much rather set the expectation of what it is ahead of time before it becomes a problem on the back end. That's my biggest piece of advice. Just be transparent. Like it's not a secret, right? Maybe the infrastructure behind how you facilitate everything is proprietary, but like creatives or marketing messages, things like that, that's not unique, right? You want to make sure that stuff is transparent, expectations are aligned. It'll reduce so much friction and problems on the back end when things have to be explained after the fact. So that'd be my biggest piece of advice for publishers and affiliates. And then on the advertiser side is really know your numbers. Like, man, if you're trying to acquire customers right now and you don't know the math behind your business to acquire those customers, every relationship you start with any vendor or marketer is going to be a very short-term relationship. You want to make sure, as much as possible, you know your numbers so that way you can proactively set expectations as far as what your targets are, right? Know what stuff you don't want to take, know what stuff you're okay with taking, know what risk exposure looks like. Like, be mindful of all the critical variables that allow you to be able to operate and continue to grow and scale your business. I think that's most important for advertisers. And then for media brokers, guys that are looking to arbitrage media in the marketplace, make sure you're putting the good deals together, right? Everybody has to eat. You want to make sure that the deals that are put together and brought to the market is uniquely aligned so that way everybody's able to participate in the proceeds and making money in that relationship. If it's too heavy one-sided, it's going to be a very short-term relationship again. So make sure, like, on all fronts, like the math is everything. You're going to make sure you back out everything to the metrics and economics. And as long as everything's aligned, you guys should be very, very good to go.
So, how much do you think today is based on buying ads? I remember back in the early days, a lot of people were organically trying to build up their traffic and search engines, and now you got the LLMs. What are you seeing? Do you find most successful people these days are doing it through meta ads, maybe, or what are you finding?
It's still a broad mix of traffic sources. So like, um, social is always going to be dominant. I'd say, just under 50% is probably social alone. And I'd put TikTok, Meta, Instagram, all that stuff in that mix. Um, but best performing still as far as back end conversions is still email. It's still the best. Don't have enough traffic there, so looking for some more email partners. If you guys are able to start fulfilling some of these verticals for us. SMS is still a top performing traffic source. I say the I do think there's been a lot of updates to Google lately that has made that extremely harder to sustain. Because pretty much everything's all PMAX now, that you're going to be running on Google. So if you have been able to figure out how to crack that code and you can get CPM super low on Google, there may be some opportunity there. But I haven't seen it happen for some of our verticals. We've been running on Google for a while. So we're looking for partners there too. That'd be amazing. And then I'd say probably the other major traffic source would be the influencers really haven't entered the performance space yet. But I do think that that is going to be a wave that's going to be unparalleled to anything else, especially for like non-ecom verticals. You know what I'm saying? So like if it's a non-ecom vertical, like I think that's where the influencers are really going to be the next wave that's going to really enter the space, really change it in some pretty significant ways as well. So like I would use that as kind of what I see as the future, but I don't think that those deals have been able to get set up properly yet. Things are just too transactional right now. The perceived value isn't there. I think more of the Clippers will be able to start monetizing short term than the actual influencers themselves, just because they're making so much money right now on ecom, and TikTok shop is blowing up, Darren. Like, that's so big. We don't do anything on the ecom side, but highly, highly interested in everybody that's figured out how to make it work over there.
You think pretty soon we might see like the big podcasters having like a little plug for final expense or ACA?
No, I think it's going to be like the phone numbers. I think it's going to be phone numbers, right? I think soon it's going to be phone numbers where they're going to start into the pay per call space. And, on their ads, instead of having links, they're going to have phone numbers. Um, but the buyer mix to be able to support that, I just don't think the hours of operation will support some of their posting schedules right now, where that traffic could really be able to get monetized unless it's like a 24/7 campaign.
Well, we might have to hit up my boy Fat Joe. I remember I pitched him on trying to get into the industry when he performed for us. I was thinking, you're a healthcare advocate. Why don't we just do a good deed and sign up people for healthcare and
Oh yeah.
but he
Yeah,
was
his
very
podcast
anti.
is blowing up too with Jada too. So I can only imagine how those clips could perform, just adding a phone number at the end of maybe a portion of the conversation that may be relevant. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, it might be time to hit him up and be like, I think you're missing out on like a huge part of the revenue that you could be making. But then again, I don't know what they're making.
yeah,
Who am I
no.
to say?
Well, I definitely think it's different, right? Because it's kind of like, how can a content creator get paid in perpetuity for an offer, right?
Mhm.
And the idea is like, yeah, a tracking URL is great, right? But then you have to depend on whoever that affiliate campaign provider is that you're running with. Is everybody that goes to that website actually going to put in your promo code? You know what I'm saying? Are you going to trust that all the time? You're getting so much free traffic right now that, I think it diminishes the returns overall unless they have like very sophisticated, cookie tracking and auto attribution. That type of stuff I think will make it a little bit easier, but I don't think it's there yet.
I've seen people lately just buy social media accounts that have like 2 to 3 million followers already and gut it out and just make it theirs. And then overnight they have 2 to 3 million people. And that's actually a pretty good idea moving forward for people is to acquire
That's how
maybe a
those
social.
clippers operate. That's how those clippers operate. Like all the clippers that you see online right now, that's exactly how they operate. And they are making money. These are all kids too. These are kids that are setting up all these channels, growing them, and then they're just flipping them.
I know
Yeah.
my brother sent me a link once to like a Little Rascals Instagram account. Very innocent, black and white, little kids having fun. And then one day I start seeing these women twerking, barely wearing anything. And I'm like, I didn't sign up for that one. I don't
Yeah.
know.
But that'll happen, especially, if the brand isn't aligned. I think that's more so the most important thing is just keeping the branding aligned
Yeah.
front.
Yeah, I agree. Well, good luck with everything. It sounds like you guys are still crushing it. And I'm looking forward to the affiliate ball coming up. However, I don't think you should be a judge. I'd like to see you pitch the crowd because I know that every time I talk to you, you explain it very well. And what we're going to, for those who don't know, I have Rich Voss. He's been on Kill Tony many times, Joe Rogan. He's got a serious radio show in the mornings every day. And he's really great with crowd work. And if somebody says something funny or maybe, you know, how roasters are, man. You got to be careful what you say because they might exploit something and have fun with it, or they might compliment you. Like Jeff Ross, we had once, and he said you're unroastable. But I think you're unroastable. I think we should get you on the other side of it and get you to pitch your service to the crowd.
No, that'd be fun, Darren. Let's see if we get enough love from this video, what the audience thinks, if it should be, me pitching or
Maybe we should put up a prize from EDM. Like we're gonna give like 100 or hundreds of free leads, or I don't know. We'll think of a good prize,
Oh,
right?
Darren.
The winner gets X amount of leads for free, comped. I don't know. Just an
No, we could
idea.
figure something out.
But
No,
uh, but again, to finish that thought, we're gonna change up the affiliate ball, and you're a gold sponsor of that again. And instead of having I was gonna get Fetty Wap, but everybody's so expensive. And when you throw these events, you don't exactly raise that much money where you could keep affording 150 grand an artist. So I decided to pivot. And this time around, we're going to focus more on the networking. We're going to focus on entertaining the crowd, and being able to have fun. So I figured the comedians are always fun,
they
and
are. They really are a good
they just
time.
add so much more character to the night. So
Yeah.
we're going to change it up a little bit. I'm looking to add another comedian and maybe a big influencer, and we're going to have a lot of fun with it. So I'm looking forward to seeing if you're going to be a judge or if you're going to pitch your thing. I think you should pitch.
Yeah, drop it down in the comments below what you guys think we should do. But it's always, this is a good time, Darren, and I appreciate you having me on, man.
Hey, I appreciate the support over the years, and welcome back to the affiliate ball. It's July 27th for those who don't know in New York City during Affiliate Summit East. So we hope to see you there. Thanks again, Jamal. Great interview.
Appreciate you, Darren.
New York City, July 27th. The affiliate ball is back. But this year, we're taking things to another level. A select group of performance marketers, affiliates, advertisers, agencies, platforms, publishers, and entrepreneurs will step onto the stage in front of the entire crowd and pitch their business live. But there's a catch. The crowd will judge you, and so will our panel, including legendary comedian Rich Voss. You've heard him on Sirius XM Radio, seen him on Joe Rogan, Kill Tony, Comedy Central. Now, he might roast you.